wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on do our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Welcome to Oscar Night Done Right. And here's your host and star of the special, your one and only, the Rich, the Boot 2786, Kevin Richard. Yo, who's ready for Hollywood, y'all? I know, some crazy dance for you. Hollywood, welcome everyone to a special edition of Random Topic Mondays. This is Oscar's Night Done Right. And tonight we're discussing the following topic. Tonight we're going to do a review, my review, of the Marlon Wayans comedy special, God Loves Me. But also I'm going to discuss more serious matter, topic of Department of Justice gives a scathing review of Louisville Police Department. We're going to be discussing all that and more tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want another copyright strike, but I'll probably get one anyway. Welcome, 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 welcome. We are smash up the likes, smash up the likes. I got my girl, some chick named Star here. Shout out to her. I think we might have Black Nationalist channel that's going to be coming in a little bit. A couple of people are watching, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I said I was going to stay away from doing random topic Sundays and Tuesdays. I was going to limit them, but I decided, because I got something to say, and also the fact that I love you all, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. So tonight is Oscars night. Oscar night, I said Oscars. I should just say Oscar. That sounds better. Oscar night done right. And we're going to be discussing all of the movies. We're going to be discussing a couple of things, especially it is Oscars night, Academy Awards. I'm going to ask you all in a second in the chat, what are you going to be doing tonight? Are you going to watch the Oscars? Now, you all know how I feel about award shows. You know how I feel about them. And I am in particular, I don't really care for award shows anymore, especially the Oscars. But sometimes if there's nothing else on, I'll turn something on. I'll turn an award show on and see what they're talking about, like I did last year. And of course, we know at least 3 people are not going to be on the Oscars tonight. So Will Smith, of course, will not be back until 2032 or 2033, I believe, to watch the Oscars. Yes, Will and Jada and Chris. No talk about G.I. Jane 2 tonight. But I have a feeling that, especially since Jimmy Kimmel is hosting, and they're already talking about it, and there's already references to the slap. In fact, matter of fact, I want y'all to look at this article. This is from the AV Club. I'm going to post right now. They said that James Cameron almost clocked Harvey Weinstein with an Oscar statue to defend Guillermo del Toro's honor. So this was supposed to be the controversies of that time before the real Oscar slap that took place, the Oscar slap that took place last year. So James Cameron almost clocked Harvey Weinstein with an Oscar statuette to defend Guillermo del Toro's honor. How do they take this shit so seriously? So the almost slap. Now here's what they call it. The almost slap took place 25 years ago on Titanic's big Best Picture winning night. So this was in 1998. And according to the Hollywood Reporter, Weinstein was allegedly being a dick, supposedly being a dick to Guillermo del Toro. And James Cameron wanted to punch him in the face with the Oscar statuette. And James Cameron revealed that he didn't know Harvey from Adam at the time. And didn't know that the producer had screwed over his friend, who was Del Toro, repeatedly. Now, you all know who James Cameron is. He is the director of film. He is the director and creator of films such as, I'm about to say Predator. No. He directed and created The Terminator, as well as directing Titanic, True Lies. He's also done the Avatar series. He's wrote screenplays with Sylvester Stallone. He wrote the screenplay for Rambo: First Blood Part 2. Actually, he co-wrote that with Stallone. And Aliens, which is one of my favorites. But he says that Guillermo and I have been close friends since 1991, and he told me the horrible shit that Miramax pulled on him when he made his first American commercial film, Mimic, and they fired him. The actors, led by Mira Sorvino, kind of revolted and wouldn't work until they brought him back. Then, when the film was successful and well regarded, Harvey sort of jumped up to take praise for the movie, and so I'm on my way back to my my seat with my editing Oscar, and this guy's jumping up to introduce himself, saying, "If you want to come work at a place that's a friend of the artist, a friend of the filmmaker." He's holding his hand out, and I just blew him off. It was just an ugly moment, but yeah, I did defend Guillermo, and I called Harvey on his bullshit, and he got very loud and verbally abusive, almost potentially physically violent. And he was about to get clocked by an Oscar, which would have been highly appropriate, I think. But I wasn't thinking about it in those terms. It was just the weapon at hand. The hysterical thing about the whole moment was people around us were saying, "Not here, not here." It was kind of like, it's okay if you boys want to fight out in the alley, but don't do it here at the Academy Awards. So this would have been so this is the almost slap. So they're just, point being why I'm bringing this up. They, of course, because it's now a year later from what happened what happened between Will and Chris uh, at the Oscars, they bring this up obviously to capitalize on it. And y'all know for a fact this is going to be the subject of the night. Jimmy Kimmel in his opening monologue is going to bring it up. The Oscars actually are about to come on right now, if I'm not mistaken. It starts at 7 o'clock. There was also something else too. Now, we don't really watch, especially us. Nobody has really an interest in watching. Black people really don't watch that shit. We only watch it to see if Denzel or Viola won. And those two are not nominated. Who is nominated you have Wakanda for what is it, Angela Bassett for Wakanda Forever. She's nominated for Best Supporting Actress, I believe. I believe also, who else is nominated? We have and not that I'm interested in necessarily watching it, but you also have, I think Wakanda Forever is also nominated for Best Picture. I believe costume designing as well. No Best Black Men are nominated for Best Actor. I remember what they did 2 years ago after Chadwick Boseman died, and they didn't nominate him for that. They didn't award him posthumously with the Best Actor award. They gave it to Anthony Hopkins, who already had won a Best Actor award for playing Hannibal Lecter. Okay, so Best Picture. I'm sorry, Wakanda Forever is not Best Picture. Only Angela Bassett is nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And they got another award that's probably in costume for Wakanda Forever. And I also believe Lift Me Up, that's a song that Rihanna, written by Rihanna, Ryan Coogler, and Ludwig Göransson, that's nominated for an award. So you can actually look at the list if you're all interested. I have it here, but they're talking possibly that guy who played Elvis, and I saw them. I was in and out with the film. I thought the Elvis movie was so fictional. I just was laughing at stuff, seeing Tom Hanks with a Swedish accent in a fat suit. So that's Best Visual Effects. So yeah, Wakanda Forever is nominated for that. So it's not much. So it's not nominated for the big awards that we think of. So that's on tonight. So I'm sure there are going to be people that watch it. Kate Blanchett in Tar. Damn, she looks like a woman, a man. I thought that was Ralph Fiennes for a second. Remember Ralph Fiennes from Schindler's List? He plays M in the James Bond movies. Now the new M. Shooter, here on my authority. Kate Blanchett looked like Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. Vigo the Carpathian. Oh, Brendan Fraser. He played a 600-pound fat gay man. Of course, that's Oscar worthy. All right, but I'm done talking about that. But y'all know, so I asked you all, do you have any plans on watching it? I'm just looking at the chat. Let's look at the poll results. 10 votes, and you all said no. Everybody said no. Okay. I understand that. That's the Oscars there if y'all listen. I can't play. Obviously, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be there's got to be a reference to the Oscars to the side. I know there will be. Y'all can't hear it, but I'm gonna get a copyright strike if I play it, so I can't play it, but I might check it out. I just know it's coming. Uh, Okay. I was thinking he was gonna start off with something with the slap, but so far nothing there. We're gonna go ahead and get this started, guys, because I'm just spitting. I don't want to spit and wasting too much time. I want to give my review of the Marlon Wayans comedy special, God Loves Me. Now, let me just tell you all, I actually had a show this past Friday at wait what? It was at the Holland Wolf in the Den. It was a good night. We had a decent crowd. I took some pictures and video, and I'm going to upload that for you all later this evening and take a look on the Patreon. And you can go to the Patreon right here, uh, gboot2786. I also had, um, after I went on, I did a show over at the Ugly Dog, and I was, that was fun. I was dealing with some drunk ass heckler at the show, but I enjoyed it, and it's a good open mic to go to. But we had great comedians on Friday. Man, we had John John let's see, John Reynolds, Roman Ellis, Matthew. I'm sorry, Matt, I'm forgetting your last name, but you know who I'm talking about. He's probably not even watching this, but we had a few great comedians that were just there. Uh, I enjoyed it. So next time we have it, if you're in the New Orleans area, you guys got to come out. You got to spend $7, it was like, or $10, however much it was, to come and do the show. Basically, it was a stand-up show, but they had to guess what your set was, and it's a drinking game, and the topics that you had to hit all of them. And apparently, I hit all of them correctly, but and I can't look at the board, but everybody else can. While you and anytime I do it, you got to take a drink. But I had a great time at that, and it was a paying gig, so that made it even better. But you all know the art of stand-up comedy. And I've talked about this is not easy. It is actually some of the hardest art form you can do because you're trying to get the attention of other people, drunk ass people, drunk people to like you and love you. And I want to do a review. It's not easy, but I want to do a review about brother Marlon Wayans and his comedy special, God Loves Me. Now, this was this special. I look on IMDb, you can check this out. They only gave it a 6.3 rating. But if I had to rate it on my scale, I would give it probably a little higher. I would give it a 7.5. The special was 1 hour, and the hour long performance that Marlon did was centered was really just centered on what happened last year, which was the 94th Academy Awards ceremony slap, the Oscar slap between Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Jada. And hold on, I don't know if I'll get a copyright strike for playing the
Too shy to say. And then she played me back in Vogue's Never Gonna Get It.
Okay, Yeah, they'll copyright strike me for doing this, but so I won't play it. But you can watch it on HBO Max. It was streaming on March 2nd. It started streaming, and I watched it today. And Marlon wrote this special. Uh, he did this special, and all it talked he talked about throughout the whole special was Chris Rock. And spoilers alert. He talked about just that one incident and looped it into stories. I'm gonna give everybody a spoiler alert if you have not watched it. Some people who do comedy are not as strong doing stand up. You know, Valley Girl, I hear the same thing about other comedians. Since you mentioned that, yeah, they say most people, most person I hear mostly who people complain about who is not funny in their stand up, but funny off stage is Mike Epps. Uh, I enjoyed Mike Epps personally. I love the Meet the Black series that he does. I also loved his work with Ice Cube in the Friday series. I thought he was great as Day Day, who he came over and took Chris Tucker's spot. Although I don't think anybody can take Chris Tucker's spot, but he did a good job. He has that show on Netflix, The Upshaws, that I don't particularly care for, but Mike Epps, I've seen some of his stuff, stand-up specials. He's been real good. I think in one special he did, X-Rated, Never Faded, in 2009. I saw that one, and I was just blown away. And he just did an outstanding job with that, with Detroit. But most people say stuff about him. He's funny in his movies, but not in his stand-up. Some people have said that about Kevin Hart too. Kevin Hart is not a great he's not as great in his stand-up specials as he is in his movies. You know, Ride Along to uh, Think Like a Man, Think Like a Man too. He's been great. Some of his stand-up specials are good, but not. I'm not completely a big fan of his. You know, I don't think anybody has ever topped what even the Kings of Comedy did, what Bernie Mac did. That was a great, outstanding stand-up performance. Dave Chappelle does great stand-up perform has did an outstanding performance. Excellent. He always brings his game. Uh, who else I can think of? I'm not really a big Steve Harvey fan. I've seen his stand-up. You know, of course, Richard Pryor is the god of king of comedy, the god of stand-up comedy, who created, as he, along with George Carlin and Lenny Bruce, they uh, paved this way of stand-up comedy instead of just doing straight, two men go into the bar and stuff, jokes like that. That's not how they set it up. Richard Pryor made his life, his pain, laughable to millions of people. Uh, and Marlon, what he did in this, and again, spoilers if you haven't seen it. If you don't want me to give away anything, then please go somewhere else. But I can tell you for a whole hour, let me just give you this stuff. Marlon just talked about Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Will Smith, and related it to the slap, which was the basis of his entire performance. But he did it in a way because he's been in Hollywood for a long time that he had stories behind how he met both of them, how he met Chris Rock before he met Jada Pinkett, and when he was a little kid, when they did "I'm Gonna Get You Sucker," and how he got into stand up, and how he got into stand up, how he came to know Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, they virtually through Jada. You know, he did, and he related it how one story was how, yeah, he talked about his brothers. He talked about doing stand up. He has actually this is only his second stand up special. And he's only just started to get back into stand up because he had quit almost 20 something years ago when he was 19, really longer than that. Because if he was 19 and quit and Chris Rock was heckling him, he talked about that too, which was funny. You know, aren't you the Wayans? Ain't y'all supposed to be funny? Which one are you, Data? Day? Which one are you? We're waiting for you to tell some fucking jokes. Good Lord. And yeah, it was just funny. It was funny all the way. I would give Selective Outrage on IMDb. If you take a look, this is the IMDb rating. They gave Marlon 6.4 rating. Selective Outrage has a 7. His first stand-up special has a 3.9. He has a Netflix special that's 6.5. Now I've seen this. I don't remember seeing this one in particular, but I heard it was good. I know he talked about Trump and so forth. Chris Tucker Live. I've seen this one. This was pretty good. I actually saw Chris Tucker live when he came to New Orleans. I'm sorry, he came to Baton Rouge around 2013, 2012, and he lit up the house, man. And he wasn't cursing, no foul language, nothing. He was great. You know, he had his Michael Jackson stories, which he always does. So he was funny. He was funny. You know, not Def Comedy Jam. I haven't seen Cats in a while, but Cat, you know, I've heard stuff about him. His last special that he had on Netflix, I've seen him perform live. But yeah, I've seen Sinbad. I told y'all that story about seeing Sinbad. Sinbad was pretty good. But yeah, Damon Wayans, out of all the Wayans family, Damon might be the funniest. He's the OG when it comes to doing stand up because only Keenan, I think, had done stand up, but Keenan is not known for his stand up comedy. Keenan actually was friends with Eddie Murphy coming up when they were growing up in New York together, and they used to hit To Catch a Rising Star and the comic strip. And, you know, that's how Eddie knew Keenan. And even Marlon talked about how he knew Eddie as his babysitter at times because Eddie would come over to their house with his leather suit on, watching him because he and Keenan were close friends. And they came up, they were members of that group called the Black Pack. I don't know if y'all recall that in the 80s, where it was Paul Mooney, Robert Townsend, Damon Wayans, Keenan Ivory Wayans, Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, and I want to say Byron Allen, but I don't think he was in it. But they actually had Paul Rumors. They added Pee Wee Herman to the Black Pack. But why they got Pee Wee Herman as a member of the Black Pack, I have no idea. But he was. And yeah, this is the story. Hold on. That's the plaque they gave him. Yeah, I remember when Pee Wee blew up, was big. Yeah, Robert Townsend. Yeah. So Arsenio, yeah, made him an honorary member of the Black Pack to join the Best of Us Brothers on the 21st day of July, 1980. uh, so Eddie Murphy had announced the existence of this squad during a Beverly Hills Cop 2 press conference in 1987. And when you look at the names involved, it makes sense. Eddie Murphy's 1987 stand-up special, Raw, was directed by Townsend, with Wayans credited as a producer as well as a writer. Yeah, because he wrote the opening sketch. That's Eddie Murphy, and Marlon tells some Eddie Murphy stories in it. But getting back to the special, I was impressed with how Marlon was able to give a special like that just based off one topic and had 50 minutes and did 55 minutes on it on three different people. I was really surprised by it. But he had those stories and he was good. And Marlon is more known as a physical comedian than he is a stand up. You know, we know him from In Living Color, from the Wayans brothers, from the Scary Movie series and the Haunted House series. So that's how I know of Marlon more than as a physical comedian than as a stand-up. But he did a phenomenal job. I would encourage everybody if you got HBO Max, if you got somebody's HBO Max password, because you don't want to pay that extra money, go ahead and watch Marlon Wayans' God Loves Me on HBO Max because it was well worth the time. I was shout out to the Wayne brother Marlon Wayans and the Wayans family. I was impressed. But yeah, Damon Wayans is an OG. Damon Wayans been doing stand up. He was doing stand up around the time Eddie was, and was damn good at it. He had HBO. He had HBO specials. That one special he did in 19. I can't remember what it was. It was in 1990 when he talked about racism. Oh, let me see if I can find that clip. Yeah, but that's Pee Wee Herman with the plaque. That actress there, that's Valerie. She's an Italian actress. Her name is. She was in the Hot Shots movie. Valerie Golino. Yeah, she was in Big Top TV as well. Yeah, she was a gorgeous woman. But let's see. Yeah, this is it. Oh,
Anytime white people want to smooth some shit over, they go get that rich nigga, put you on TV to represent the people, you know? You have you asking your questions like, Damon, now that you made this $13 million, and we're not counting, now that you made all this money, let me ask you this. Let me just throw this out. You respond any way you want. Is there racism in America? You be sitting there thinking about that paycheck, talking about, no, sir. If in there is, I ain't seen none.
and like Terry Crews. Yeah, man, but he was an OG. But shout out to Marlon Wayans on the God Loves Me special. On the God Loves Me special. Now, I thought it was great. Now, I want to talk about this last topic. The Department of Justice gives a scathing review of the Louisville Police Department, especially with Breonna Taylor. Now, over the last few days, it came out that the Department of Justice had been investigating the Louisville Police Department. And of course, that police department was involved in that botched raid that unfortunately led to the death of Breonna Taylor. Now, Department of Justice, they reviewed it and found numerous civil rights violations that occurred at the hands of the police department in Louisville, including we're talking about the use of dogs on black teenagers, including attacking him for no apparent reason, gnawing on him. You also have them referring to black people as monkeys and apes, all these other names, and that they called using divisive tactics, cruel punishment, excessive force, all of this stuff. Now, when I hear stuff like this, of course, y'all know this is my line of work, especially as a lawyer, that this don't surprise me. But I'm going to play right now the video that I had from some video footage that we had in regards to the DOJ's police report, courtesy of ABC News. This was from March 8th, 2023. I need you all to please smash up your likes, smash up the likes, hit that notification bell, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, smash up your likes. We're going to go ahead and play this video. It's about 7 minutes long, and I need you all to take a look at it. I also want to stress the importance, since this channel is not monetized, please donate to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Support. Danielle, how you doing, Danielle? It's good to see you. Of course, we're going to go fair use with this one. Shout out to my girl, some chick named Star. I haven't seen Star in a long time. Let's go ahead and play this.
City and its police force engaged in a pattern of unlawful and discriminatory policing, depriving people of their constitutional rights.
And Attorney General Garland was joined by officials from the Louisville Police Department when he spoke about those findings a little while ago.
The department has concluded that there is reasonable cause to believe that Louisville Metro and LMPD engaged in a pattern or practice of conduct that violates the First and Fourth Amendments of the Constitution. Some have videotaped themselves throwing drinks at pedestrians from their cars, insulted people with disabilities, and called Black people monkeys, animal, and boy. This conduct is unacceptable. It is heartbreaking.
That's the Attorney General. This investigation was originally prompted by national outrage after the death of Breonna Taylor, who was shot and killed by Louisville police officers while she was unarmed in her own apartment. The police officers had no justification, no reason at all to be there. They shot her dead. Let's bring in Kimberly Whaley, legal contributor and former U.S. attorney. So, Kim, this is a remarkable thing the Justice Department has done here. Why do you think the Department of Justice's involvement in these types of situations is critical, really?
It's critical, Terry, because there's not a lot of incentive for police forces within their community dealing with prosecutors to self-check in this regard, because everyone sort of knows each other. And if you know you're going to aggravate the prosecutor's going to aggravate a police witness, maybe they'll look the other way. And it looks like that's what's happened here. So many instances where there was not accountability for wrongdoing, not even reports, not very good, training, oversight, all of those things. And the Justice Department is the Justice Department. One of their obligations is to enforce the federal Constitution, enforce civil rights. And they're saying here that this is not just a few bad apples. This is a systematic problem where you're seeing violations of the Fourth Amendment, because when someone pulls you over, that's a search of yourself, your body, if you're arrested, that police officers are taking it too far. And then also in protest, the First Amendment, talking about how when people are talking back to police officers, they get bullied, and sometimes with violence, and sometimes with violence that can be lethal.
So, Kim, we have seen delay after delay for the trials for those 4 police officers charged in the death of Breonna Taylor. So is this DOJ investigation going to impact those at all?
Well, it looks like the most recent delay was because the judge, one of those defendants, the judge was persuaded by defense counsel that there was just so much evidence that that defendant needed time to go through it. I think the judges in those cases are also thinking about constitutional rights, the constitutional due process rights of those defendants. So as far as the timing, I don't think it'll have an impact, but it's going to be hard for potential jurors not to pay attention to this statement from the Justice Department, 90 plus pages, some really damaging stories, very heartbreaking stories. And so I think prosecutors and defense lawyers are going to have to be careful once the juries are impaneled to make sure that they're not somehow persuaded one way or the other about the evidence in these cases based on what the Justice Department has said about the pattern and practice of discriminatory policing in Louisville.
I mean, the pattern and practice of discriminatory policing in Louisville, Kim, as the DOJ begins its new investigation in Memphis Yesterday, passed 5 police reform ordinances there on things like traffic stops, data transparency, police oversight. It's 2023. We have police in major cities, which are being found by the federal government to operate in a discriminatory manner against the black citizens of that city. Look, it's a big question, but is this, well, what's the next step? How do you really get on top of this? We've been after this for 100 years and more.
Well, a couple points. One is that as the DOJ found that, there's much more discrimination on the basis of race, of course, against African-American individuals, but that some of this violence and bullying and police misconduct also happens against white citizens. It's really about empowering individuals with the massive power of the government. Police officers, if they arrest you, it's an arrest. If you or I did it, Terry, that would be kidnapping. They have a lot of power, and there has to be pushback on the other side. Now, what's happening in Memphis is these sort of special investigative units. It was the Scorpion unit, where across the country they're empowering small elite forces to have extra special powers. In this instance, it was this routine traffic stops where they would start to look for other kinds of crimes. And again, you put sort of young police officers not well trained in de-escalation techniques in an environment where they're supposed to find crime, and you're going to see abuses. So that investigation, DOJ, I think, is going to have particular focus on these special units. Of course, even regular police officers, as we're seeing now with the report in Memphis, are a problem. But this is something we've got to shift the mentality of our law enforcement away from, I have the power and you better comply with what I have to say, to, a community-based sort of, we're in this together and we're here to help each other. And I think it's that mentality that, as you indicate, is very difficult to shift. And we're now decades and decades into it, and seeing these abuses are ongoing. And I'm just glad to see DOJ is on it, because of course, under Donald Trump, the consent decrees, things like that, were pulled back. Jeff Sessions issued a memo to the Department of Justice, to the prosecutors, saying, we don't want to do these consent decrees. We want to give more power to the states. And I think it's clear there's a role for the federal government in ensuring compliance with the Constitution.
Well, hopefully that'll send a message to other departments across the country, so we don't have to wait for another police beating or a videotape to surface or an innocent person to be killed at the hands of police officers. DOJ jumps in. You see they're going to hold people accountable. Hopefully people will take care of the culture before the culture reveals itself once again.
Great point.
Kimberly, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live
Heard Garland, guys. You heard what he had to say about it, how they were throwing things at people, showing, recording themselves, doing this and that. You sicking dogs on black teenagers. We heard about that. There was one kid who they had a canine gnawing on this kid's arm. Hearing about this type of behavior in police departments is not anything new. We heard it even as far as San Francisco. We heard it in Los Angeles when they had the Rough Riders, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department that got in trouble recently. We talked about them, how they had basically a gang that was in there that was attacking black people. They had the Rampart scandal in LA with the police department. That's what that whole OJ, a lot of the detectives involved in that were involved in the OJ Simpson case. All that stuff goes on. Okay? Cops can be corrupt motherfuckers too. My problem and the questions that I have that the DOJ, they have this on their website, is you talk about what the problem is that we have known for a very long time. We've known that this stuff goes on. We know that there is racism, there are civil rights violations in all police departments across the country in some way, shape, or form. It came up with an investigation. You released this on Wednesday, March 8th. My question to the Attorney General is, what is it that you plan to do? Then to implement change in the Louisville Police Department. What does this give us? You filed a comprehensive investigation. You found this and saw excessive force, searches based on invalid warrants. What happened to, unfortunately, with Breonna? The cops allegedly lied on that. You had unlawful stops, searches, detains, and arrests, unlawful discriminations against Black people, violating the rights of people engaged in protected free speech, discrimination among people with behavioral health disabilities when responding to crisis. You found all of this stuff. Now, they say here this is one of 8 investigations into law enforcement agencies opened up by the Justice Department Civil Rights Division under Section 12601 during this administration. The department has ongoing investigations into the Minneapolis Police Department, the Phoenix Police Department, the Mount Vernon Police Department, the Louisiana State Police, the New York State Police Department, Special Victims Division, the Worcester, Massachusetts Police Department, and Oklahoma City. My question, sir, you found all of these violations, and what are you planning to do to implement change? What lawsuits have we heard that have been filed? Who has been fired? Who has been arrested? Are there any pending arrest? Of course, they probably won't say it if it's a pending investigation. They won't announce anything like that as of right now. But it means nothing. We hear this stuff before, and it honestly does nothing if there's not going to be any change. If there's not going to be real change, and you investigate and find stuff we already know that this goes on. What are your solutions? That's the question we ultimately have to ask the Department of Justice. What we have to ask the mayor, the police chief, and I'll take it even a step further, even the governor of of Kentucky, the attorney general. Remember Daniel Cameron, who declined to press charges? I believe he's still the AG of Kentucky. What does he have to say about this? We're going to call them all out. But we're going to actually get them. We actually need them to do something. I don't really like to say I want other people, especially those that oppress us, to do something because we know they're not going to do anything. We need to do something. We need to stand up. We're the ones that really have to change our neighborhoods, our cities. And what we do, number one, in your local elections, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to who the police chief, the sheriff is, because especially the sheriff, because I believe that's an elected position. Police chief is not, although the mayor picks them. Pay attention, though, to who your mayor, who your city council lead member is, your councilman. Pay attention to who or alderman your alderman is. Pay attention to all that because it does matter. And when stuff like this happens and you don't see any effective change, you need to do especially if the follow recall protocol and kick their ass out. They screw up. They don't need they don't need to be rehired again. This changes nothing. What you found is a basic nothing burger. And what's going on, I'm going to tie it into this. In 2024, there are already plans for people to run for the presidency. I think there are people that are going to challenge Joe Biden. DeSantis, who's a Republican, looks like he's running, perhaps. Donald Trump has talked about running, but what likely is he's announced he's running. But what's going to happen? They're actually trying to get Trump indicted out in New York, which will likely derail his plans to run for president again. That's the main thing. They want him indicted on a crime, on a charge. And then on top of that, yeah, and that's a problem too, Abigail. They keep electing the same people no matter what. It's a correct thing. It's just like Maxine Waters out in California. She's 83 years old, and likely when re-election comes up, if she decides to run again, people will vote for her again because she's Auntie Maxie, and that's another problem. Stop treating these politicians like they're TikTok stars, please. This Gen Z is leading us downhill. Gen Z is Benzie. It's insanity. Gen Z is insanity. That's what it is. Like, I'm so sick of seeing all of these people voting for the same person they know aren't good, but just because they can smile, they showed up to the barbecue, they did a fish fry. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm rocking with that. That's why you're voting for it. That's why your kids suffering today. And to tie it in with this, the Department of Justice, they released this stuff because 2024 is around the corner. The campaign season is coming up. So they're going to go ahead and ask people to vote. And they want you to vote Democrat. They want you to vote and support. Hey, I'm Biden's AG. I did this. Biden has not done a damn thing for Black people in the 3 years he has been in office. Correction, 2.5 years he's been in office. It's almost a half, 2.25. All right, let's put it like that. Biden has done nothing. Homosexuals, transgenders, yeah, he's been outstanding. Illegal immigrants, he's been great. Black people, we've got nothing but a Juneteenth holiday. That's it. And I'm hearing stories that the Dems don't want Kamala Harris to be the vice president anymore because nobody likes her. And she was, of course, selected to pacify Black female voters because they wanted a Black vice president and they wanted a Black Supreme Court justice, a female Supreme Court justice who doesn't even know what a woman is. But this is what we vote for. This is what we get. And I'm telling y'all, come November, elections, watch. They're going to be out in strobes. They're going to mention this. They are going to mention this. They're definitely gonna mention this. Now I'm just seeing so let me know what y'all think in the chat. We're gonna go back to the Oscars list. I heard, okay, so they started to, someone texted me, I saw on Facebook people watching that Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actress. So Angela Bassett did not get the Best Supporting Actress for Wakanda Forever, which I knew wasn't gonna happen. Not for a superhero movie. Then on top of that, they got I heard Jimmy Kimmel was okay. Say Jimmy Kimmel was going in on Will Smith. Let's see if I can play it. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. I was trying to hear Will Smith, but they say he was going in on him. I'll probably look at it later and see what Will Smith jokes he did. I'm not going to spend much time saying on it. Y'all already said y'all not going to watch the Oscars, but I knew they were going to come. So 21 votes in. So let's look at this. I got 21 votes, and all of you say you're not watching the Oscars. This don't surprise me because I know we're not really feeling the Oscars like talking about it. Yeah. The only reason I may watch that, being a stand-up comedian, you never know when you're gonna get inspiration. A la last year. Uh, you find inspiration from stuff like this, so it's great to go over. All right. We're gonna go ahead and end on this one, guys. It's been a good night. But yeah, you never know when inspiration finds you, which is why the only reason why I would watch the Oscars in case some stuff of the unexpected happens. But it has been a great Oscars night done right, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna find out who won the best ass whipping award. See, they made sure they didn't put any black. I don't know who's presenting tonight. I don't know who's Jimmy Kimmel's hosting, but I don't know. It will. The sad thing about it was that Will Packer was producing the Oscars. He was the first black man to produce the Oscars awards last year. They ain't bring that mug back. They made sure that you turn the Oscars into the Source Awards. We're not doing that. Okay, so Best Actress, Jamie Lee Curtis and Ke Huy Quan, who was in that movie, also won Best Supporting Actor. I'm gonna tell you this: that movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I didn't see the big fuss about it. It didn't make any damn sense. It was a movie about nothing. It was a sci-fi film and a movie about nothing. So they gave Jamie Lee Curtis this Oscar. And honestly, Jamie Lee Curtis has been in the business for almost, I want to say it's almost 50 something years because she did Halloween, which was her first movie role, but she had done television before that. And she was a young lady. Her mother was, her mother and father were Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. And Janet Leigh was known for Psycho. So this don't surprise me. So now that Angela didn't win, no other black people, I'm not watching this shit. All right, that's it. They had that one black person and they didn't get it. They know they need to nominate. They need to put Baby Boy at the Oscars. As much time that's played on BET or the Five Heartbeats. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. This has been an exciting edition of Oscar Nights done right, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar Nights done right. I need you all to donate to us as well. I also need you to ask you on HBOMax.com, right on TV on Facebook, on his favorite recognition. Our top Facebook page of Complex Lives, and also pictures of the record. This is really makes out on Amazon Kindle. You also can go to our Patreon at G718, subscribe. I'm going to upload the comedy show I did. You want to advertise, hit me up for an email at gavin.gh1@gmail.com for rates. And don't think I have anything else for everybody tonight. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in the next one. So, gotta get on up and get your sonar available online. Oh, the music was loud. Sorry, Valley Girl. I was just going over where you can subscribe to our channel. Also, donate to the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle to support me. This has been a great Oscar night done right, ladies and gentlemen. Order the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Kindle. And join the Patreon and advertise, all right? All right, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a good night. Hollywood done right. It's the Oscars. Only on channel GBoo2786. Gavin Richard presents on Gavin Richard Facebook and on Twitter. Good night, guys. Let's see, Cheryl Massey, it was good to see you as always. Some chick named Star, shout out to you. Thank you, Danielle. Thank y'all, Valley Girl. All right, family. Hollywood. Good night.